Joe Dahl plays center.
Joe Dahl can play center and has taken some snaps. Bo Benchwal, who is currently on the practice squad, who is a guard by trade. This summer, I know that they put him at the center position to teach him to snap. He is your other backup center. The other backup center you might have is Jonah Jackson. How many positions has this rookie played so far this year in 4 games? 2 different positions. This could be his 3rd.
Wow.
And then you put a rookie at the center position where I just talked about, hey, you've got to make all the calls.
Right.
You've got to have all of this blitz pickup. Even if Jacksonville decides to go basic like that as well, it's not as simple as you might think. Not a position I would want a rookie to be in who's not a trained center. Rookies can come in and play. We saw Frank Ragnow do it.
Yes.
But unless you're a trained center, it's very difficult to snap the ball, start a play with your hand between your legs. So look at that. And this would be, if this happens, the 4th offensive line configuration in 5 games.
And you know better than anybody, consistency, even if you're not a great offensive line, makes the offensive line better if you work with these guys, same position week after week, year after year, too.
You have to know exactly what your line mate is doing without even seeing them. And I know we're running just a little bit short. I'm going to give you one other matchup that I'm looking for. Jeff Okudah, C.J. Henderson. 2 corners. One was taken number 3 overall.
Right.
One was taken number 9 overall. Let's see who's better.
All right. That's the pregame edition of In the Trenches. We'll have the postgame version coming up on Monday. 97.1 The Ticket. It's time for a here's the O.
WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. A radio.com sports station. Sports headlines all day, every day. From the Sold by Mike Z Sports Desk, this is 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by Mother Waters. The Atlanta Braves now 1 win away from playing in the World Series for the first time since 1999 after a convincing 10-2 victory over the Los Angeles Dodgers in last night's Game 4 of the National League Championship Series. Over in the American League Championship Series, Houston would edge past Tampa Bay 4-3 in Game 5 of that best-of-7 series. Carlos Correa's home run in the bottom of the 9th inning allowed Houston to walk off with the victory last night.
Now in the situation that we're in, we were down 0-3, and now being able to beat 2 and 3, it's a big homer.
Atlanta Falcons officials are scheduled to reopen their team facility today after a member of the Falcons organization tested positive for the coronavirus yesterday, which forced team officials, as a precautionary measure, to shut down that facility. The Falcons game on Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings is still on track to be played, barring any more positive tests today for the virus. Closer to home, today a final day of game planning for the Lions as they continue to get ready for Sunday's road game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. With the Big Ten set to begin its 2020 college football season next week, odds makers now have Michigan listed as a 2.5-point underdog for their opener against Minnesota. Different story, though, for Michigan State, as the Spartans are posted as an 11.5-point favorite for their opener against Rutgers. From the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Tony Ortiz. For more, stay tuned to 97.1 The Ticket and radio.com.
Live from the Jamie Samuelson Studios, Tony and Jansen on 97.1 The Ticket.
Good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. We did get some disturbing COVID news yesterday. 2,000 cases yesterday, and most we've had in one day since April. So be smart out there. I can tell you, live your life, but be smart as you live your life. Still ahead on the program this hour, we'll be joined by our betting guru, Nick Costos. Also, the
offensive lineman, you can have a hamstring and be all right because you're not exploding forward. Yes, you are in blocking, but you're not doing an explosive movement like taking off on a 40-yard dash. Like
Right.
we've seen the hamstrings with a lot of corners and wide receivers.
Right.
A groin injury for an offensive lineman is probably the worst muscle pull that you can have because it's a lateral movement position, and that's what helps you move laterally. Especially at the center, their stance is a little bit wider. They get that ball through there. It's a tough injury to play with.
So you have Peterson, who knows might not play, whatever. Which to me, he's been pretty good. But I just
And their best rusher.
Yeah, but I just rather see Swift and carry on play. Just look, I believe the season's pretty much over anyway. Let these kids get as much experience as they can. Also, I want to add, Sundays they start this series of 2 games on the road against teams that are equally as bad as they are. We can sit there and argue, are the Lions better than Jacksonville? Well, Vegas thinks so, and they play Atlanta next week. So, what do you have to see on Sunday? 248-539-9797. That's the ticket text and also the telephone number if you'd like to call in. And we'd love to hear from you here, whether you're listening in your car on your way to work, or you're just hanging out on your phone, radio.com on the app. You can listen every day. Rewind if you want to, there's a segment you missed from any of our shows. So please feel free to call. We'd love to hear from you. What I need to see on Sunday is just not necessarily dominate, but control a game for 60 minutes. I mean, even the game that they won, they did not control the game for 60 minutes. I know even really good teams don't control the game for 60 minutes, but wouldn't it be nice, obviously, for them to get an early lead and not blow the lead, but just show that they're a good football team. When they have a chance, step on the gas. Don't play, conservative football. Just, win the game from start to finish. That's what I really want to see.
In your opinion, or when you watch a game, even if because there's an ebb and flow to a game, can they be down at some point, like say 6-3, 10-7, 13-10, something like that, and you still feel like they're controlling the game?
No.
It's all dictated by the scoreboard.
Well, not just by the scoreboard. Yeah, because they're the Lions, so I don't think they ever control a game that they're falling.
So
I mean, if there's a fluke, if they're up, 7-3 or whatever, like they march down the field and score. They got a stupid penalty, puts Jacksonville in field goal range. They kick a field goal, and then Agnew fumbles the kick. Those things. So yeah, they can be behind and still have some control. But no, they're long.
yeah, it's hard to conceive of that, but there are times where I felt this as a player where you are controlling the game and it's just a matter of time before you take control of the scoreboard.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a little different, obviously, as a fan and a player, but when you're on the offensive line, as the game wears on, when you have them physically.
Oh, there's no question, yeah.
So,
and so that's why I wanted to ask you, because I everybody knows I'm coming at this from a player's perspective.
Right.
And so as an offensive lineman, you get a feel for how the game is going and the fact that it's just a matter of time before you break that big run and that breaks the game open. But you feel like you're controlling the game, even if you might be down.
But the problem being a Lion fan is even if you feel that way, that turnover that it's just waiting to happen.
Well, and not
that
only that,
stupid penalty.
you could be up 14-0, and you still feel like you're not controlling the game.
Right. It's because of what's happened the last, I don't want to go back to history, but just this year. So what? Even if it's Jacksonville, you might feel a little safer if they're up 14-0. But you never feel safe. Now, all teams, probably fans go through this because there's a lot of leads, but the Lions do it, daily, weekly, it seems.
The one thing that I want to see this week, and I already talked about the defense, but I want to see Matt Stafford play a solid game and not have that moment where he takes a sack that takes him out of field goal range or puts him on the 1-yard line. There's no turnovers by Matt Stafford. If he plays a consistently good game, there's going to be mistakes. Don't have that one bonehead move.
Exactly.
If he does that, I think that helps the defense out, and they play better because you're going to have better field position. You're going to probably be up. One of the other excuses that we heard was, well, we can't get after the quarterback because we're down and the other team is running the football. Well, it's just another excuse to talk about why you're not getting pressure on the quarterback. A lot of that has to do with the success of the offense, how much time they're taking off the board, how many points they're putting up. Can they flip the field? And we have a great individual that helps us flip the field in Jack Fox.
Right.
But we don't want to rely on that every time.
You rely on your punter. Eventually, he's going to shank one.
Right. It's just, it's just what kickers do.
Yeah, and also you talk about the defense, and Jacksonville rushes the ball really well, so you don't know. Don't forget who the offensive coordinator for the Jaguars is. Jay Gruden. He might not have been the greatest head coach in the world, but he was pretty smart because he didn't want Haskins.
Right.
Okay? And he's got a pretty good offensive mind, so just when you think you have things figured out defensively, I would trust Jay Gruden over the Patricia Brains trust right now.
When's the last time this team went on the road and won a game convincingly?
When they beat the Dolphins a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was Patricia. That was Carry-On's big game
Yes.
where everybody thought he was going to be an elite running back after that.
Yeah.
That game was kind of tight here and there. I don't know if I would call it convincing. Like, I would go back to what I want to see Sunday is what they did, and this was before Patricia, when they went to New Orleans and won that game several years ago, like 28-13.
Right.
And I believe that they got the 9-4 after that, and then Stafford hurt his hand or finger, whatever, thumb, and they lost out and made the playoffs. They lost to the Seahawks in the playoffs. But I want to see a game like that. That game was never in doubt. After that game, I remember us talking like, "Oh my God, they look for real."
Was that the Monday night game?
No. This was a Sunday 1 o'clock game, 28-13. Very methodical win, very unlion-like. It's like what you guys said about you can't trust them when they're up right now at all. I mean, they've blown all these double-digit leads. It's like, go down there, run the football, have a balanced offense, and come away with a 27-10 win.
I believe that was the Zach Zenner game when he was one of the real studs of the game.
Yeah.
Right. Ticket text 248-539-9797. Don't just beat Jacksonville. Beat them down by 14 points or more. That's from John at DT8. That would be nice to see.
I mean,
a blowout where you don't have to sweat. That'd be
what
nice.
I'm saying here is, if they go and win a game like the Cardinal game, you're not going to feel any better about this team.
No, not at all. It might be interesting to discuss different formations and so forth, but if they aren't very good players, then the impact of formations and strategy is limited.
Well, yes and no. That becomes a matter of, if you're limited in personnel, then I think the formations and personnel groups are even more important. Where you line those guys up to give them an advantage to be successful, if they don't have the skill set to win a matchup one-on-one, then I think the alignment is critical at that point.
That's what coaching does. I mean, look at what the Panthers are doing right now. Who would have thought that they could be 3-2? And I know they haven't beat the greatest teams in the world, but they lost McCaffrey. Yeah. Everybody wrote off Teddy Bridgewater. Oh my gosh, what are they doing? He's done. His knee's one step away from blowing it out again. Matt Rule's doing something.
Yeah. Amazing. Good coach is named Matt. One more ticket text. I want to see their first fumble. Have they not fumbled this year?
No, the Lions have not fumbled the ball this year. That is one stat where they're like, hey, okay, we're doing good. We haven't fumbled the football.
Our ball security. They pumped in Tom Coughlin's, lecture to Tiki Barber on ball security. That's why I guess he said, I want to see their first fumble. All right, coming up next, Matthew Stafford. Big game for him. How many teams are in a better situation, quarterback-wise, than Matthew Stafford? 97-1 the ticket.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Be prepared for quite a bit of a delay because of a rollover accident. I-75 southbound after Sashaball, the right lane and both shoulders affected. Then 75 southbound, you're going to see some stop-and-go traffic through the work zone between Long Lake and Big Beaver. A little heavy right now on 75 both directions near 696. And coming up this morning, moving lane closures are scheduled for 75 northbound between 13 and 14 Mile. I'm Michelle Pena with traffic.
97.1 The Ticket and CBS Sports Radio 1270. Your homes for the NFL on Westwood One. The Dallas Cowboys host the Arizona Cardinals. Monday Night Football. Pregame at 7:30 on 97.1 The Ticket.
Sports are back, and that means you need to get down to the BetMGM Sports Lounge inside MGM Grand Detroit. There's no reason to call your local bookie anymore when you can just go down to the BetMGM Sports Lounge and place real money wagers on all the action. You can stop by anytime and place your bets at the live betting window, or do what I did and go to one of the easy-to-use self-service kiosks. The BetMGM Sports Lounge welcomes fans back to the excitement of a full betting menu 7 days a week. Whether you live and breathe sports, or you're just looking to place a wager on your favorite team, the BetMGM Sports Lounge at MGM Grand Detroit is ready to take your single-game bets, along with parlays, props, future bets, and more. And don't forget about those teasers. You can take two of your favorite teams and tease them together and have a bet with two of your favorite teams at the same time. It's pretty cool. There's no better place in Michigan to celebrate the return of major sports. Stop by the betting window or the self-service kiosk anytime to get a piece of the action. Get ready to believe in your game again at the BetMGM Sports Lounge at MGM Grand Detroit. Must be 21 or older.
As we continue to face COVID-19, we're now facing a flu season. So to protect us all, let's hit this virus head on. Get your flu vaccine. Learn more at michigan.gov/flu. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Cleanings, checkups, and cavities. Have Dr. Chang's dental practice at capacity.
Patient in room 1 is getting a root canal. The x-rays in room 2 are going to have to wait. We're down to one hygienist.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our
didn't feel so odd, so I searched my symptoms on Google, and now I'm being followed by uncomfortable ads. I hate feeling like my personal data is being bought and sold. I downloaded DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. Take back your privacy with DuckDuckGo.
97.1 The Ticket and Beaumont Student Heart Check program provides a healthy heart check for students whose families might not otherwise be able to afford it. Go to 971theticket.com, search Student Heart Check, and help make a difference in our community. Now, text or call the ticket using the same number. Ticket text 248-539-9797. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, here's Tony and Jansen.
All right. There's no argument Matthew Stafford has not had a good season. I know he's been bad. I just don't think he's been okay. Played well, but, and you can't beat a really good quarterback with the well bunt. The bunt being sacks and the interceptions. At ridiculous times that 12-year NFL veterans should not be making. So we were wondering, and we have to clarify this, at least now we're according to the rules. How many teams have a better quarterback situation